join in the next few minutes. So I've already spoken to him, so he should be joining anytime. Okay.
Okay, we'll start.
Recording in progress.
Satish, you can start.
Good morning, namaste, and welcome, friends, to our weekly virtual speaker series on Ayurveda, the pharmacological and therapeutic effects of top 75 traditional Ayurvedic medicine. And today is our 11th session on Sitopaladi Churna. And our special guest this morning is Honorable Kahelia Ram Bukwela, Minister of Health, Sri Lanka. We are very, very honored to have his presence with us this morning. And Honorable Nirj Deva, Advisor to President of Sri Lanka and former member of the European Parliament and UK Parliament. And a very, very warm welcome, sir. Friends, as we all know that Ayurveda is a recognized medicine system in Sri Lanka, and currently there are around 25,000 Ayurvedic practitioners in the country as per Ayurveda Medical Council Sri Lanka, as we all are trying to create an environment of promoting traditional medicine, most effective preventative and curative tool in the western part of the world. Knowledge, experience, wisdom of all the countries following this traditional medicine system is very, very important, and we are eagerly looking forward to insightful remarks from our very, very distinguished guest. The presenter today are Dr. Shardul Chauhan, Assistant Professor, APM Ayurvedic Mahavidyalaya, Mumbai, and Professor Dr. Anita Vanjari, Mahatma Gandhi Ayurvedic College Research Center, Wada. A very, very warm welcome to our distinguished speakers as well. And we're looking forward to a great presentation. We have Dr. Shantha also with us joining this morning. Welcome, sir. And we are looking forward to a great session this Sunday. And over to you, Dr. Verma.
Thank you, CG. And viewers, today we have a lecture on pharmacological and therapeutic effects of Sitopaladi Churna. Sitopaladi Churna is a very famous Ayurvedic medicine. It is being used by millions of people in India for the last 5,000 years. In current pandemic, we have seen when there was a complaint of dry cough, all Ayurvedic traditional practitioners, they use Sitopaladi Churna with great success. And today we have two expert speakers. They will enlighten us about the therapeutic and therapeutic benefits of Sitopaladi Churna. So without wasting any time, I will invite Dr. Madan Thangaveloji to moderate the session. Welcome, Dr. Madan Thangaveloji. Thank you, sir.
Harishji, Satishji, thank you for bringing us all together today. Naranji, namaskar. Thank you for bringing so many people once again to the platform. You know, people ask, why are we doing this series on traditional Ayurvedic medicine? In brief, it's very simple. Ayurveda is India and Asia's heritage. Now, additionally, there is an increasing awareness globally for Ayurveda and Ayurveda systems. And in India, the establishment of a WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine is an expression of this interest. Now, what is becoming clear is there is a need to share this excitement with many more policymakers, with governments across the world, not only the citizens. The aim of this series is to start with a series with a subset of traditional Ayurvedic medicines. India and its traditional digital knowledge library holds about 300,000 such formulations, which are known for thousands of years and are used very safely. So the aim of the series is to move into a slightly socio-technical political kind of discussion where we can start to engage with these broader issues, and also to bring all of this to the attention of policymakers. And we're very fortunate to have here with us parliamentarians like Niranji, and also from the British Ayurveda Medical Council, Dr. Shanta Gurgama. So, while we wait for our other guests to join us, question to Niranji. Delighted to be meeting here. Greetings. I'm today coming to you from Brussels, so delighted to be here with yourself. Before we start off, I just want to get a few words from Naranji, who's joining us from Delhi, on the mood in Delhi and where Ayurveda, he's very close to happening in Delhi. Naranji, namaskar. Please tell us where we are in terms of these discussions. Our interest here, as you well know, is to take it to the people, to show how traditional formulations used for thousands of years are still effective, as Harishji said, and where can we bring this knowledge to contemporary use.
I'll just recap. Thank you, Dr. Madan. I'll just recap to some of the points I mentioned earlier. I think the post-pandemic, the world is looking to be more inclusive and identify different methods, treatment methodologies, and traditional systems to save mankind and basically prepare the world's healthcare system into another pandemic response and better management system. That's the root of where it started. So traditional systems have regenerated, has a new meaning, new life into the present context. That's the big picture. And India and many of the Asian countries, Sri Lanka is a very important member of this. India, Sri Lanka, the subcontinent countries have developed and learned and built knowledge systems of traditional medicines for thousands of years. And together, if we bring about, along with the World Ayurvedic Practitioners Associations in Europe, North America, Africa, and many other parts, and build a network of well-wishers for traditional medicines, and take us together, we go to the world with an objective of providing more robust, more solid preventive health. And we have a great mission and a great opportunity to serve mankind in a very unique way. That's the second element of this. Now, we've been talking to and reaching out. We have so far assimilated about 9 countries. We've gotten senior policymakers from across the world. And today we have the fortunate of Honorable Nirj with us. The minister is also expected to join in a few minutes. We will understand what does it take, apart from the technicality and formulation and entrepreneurship. The biggest element today is we have WHO, we have Commonwealth, you have European Union, we have North America, various countries, various diplomacy. How do we take this forward collectively in order to bring effective response and build a support system in terms of policymaker support and actual trade agreements and policies, so that we can see this as a reality? We have a great opportunity in the next few years and a decade to make this happen. That's the background why we are here. There is a large membership and a large viewership for this program. And this is a very significant initiatives. And we will bring in more policymakers and more leaders from world institutions who can provide thought leadership in making this a reality very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Naranji, thank you very much for giving us that broad vision. We are very fortunate to have Honorable Niraj-ji, who has a lot of experience here in the European Union, having been a member of the European Parliament for several terms. We are also very fortunate to have Dr. Shanta Gurgama, who is the patron president for the newly formed British Ayurveda Medical Council, and himself an Ayurveda graduate. Shantaji also connects a lot with the Parliament here in the UK and has for decades been working to understand the challenges for getting Ayurveda to be recognized in the UK. Shantaji, namaskar.
Namaskar.
Delighted to have you with us. I just want a few quick words from you You were with us 2 programs before, and just a very quick briefing to tell Neeraj, to convey to Neeraj the kind of challenges you have faced in the UK.
Yes, definitely. I will mention in detail in my talk, but I would say I've been here in UK nearly 43 years now, and word of Ayurveda is almost unknown even among the medical profession. Now we are entering into an age where we are talking in publicly about Ayurvedic formulations. So that is a subject very important, and there are so many aspects of this formulation coming into the public knowledge, and we need to discuss in detail how we move forward to the future with this knowledge and also protecting the system. With that in my mind, I like to, when I talk about these policies and regulations, I would like to see Minister and also MP Dr. Niraj, we have a Sri Lankan connection, so to be present, and then I like them to hear what I have to say, right? That will help for policymakers to take it forward to the future. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Shantaji. Thank you. We will come back to you, Shantaji, because you are one of the best persons to convey to the world the mood in UK, and as you've seen over 4 decades. But let us hear from Neeraj. Neeraj, namaskar. Greetings.
Namaskar. Ayubowan. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today, sir.
Professor Maton, we are embarking on this conversation from a uniquely distinguished perspective, which doesn't understand the holistic nature of the world in which we are trying to do battle. And that has been the problem of Ayurveda for a long time. About an hour before I joined this conversation, I was actually going through my internet messages, and I came across Dr. Stephen Grundy, who asked me to look at a video of how I should get my gut health back. And I watched this for about 40 minutes of him banging on about how we have leaky guts and what we need to do for gut health. Now, he's a Californian heart surgeon who is selling huge quantities of this stuff called Restore Health. And when you look at what his formulation is, it is absolutely Ayurvedic. He's talking about licorice roots and pepper and clove oil and the whole works that we traditionally for thousands of years have been using. But here's a new Western concoction coming up about health, which is actually drawing from the historic knowledge of the East, but is now repackaged as though coming from Western science and Western medicine. Our mistake is that we have stuck to names. Everything is a label. And the moment you say Ayurveda to a European politician, his eyes glaze over and think, oh my God, some mumbo jumbo from some colonial thing. I don't even understand what the word means. So we talk about Ayurvedic medicine and expect the people whose market we are trying to break into to understand even that word. What does it mean? And then we just blindly carry on using Sanskrit words without understanding that 90% of the market is branding and words and names. And so we need to refashion the message. That's one point. The second point, which is much more dangerous and more difficult, is a big pharma. We are striding boldly where no one dares to go, which is to actually challenge the traditional Western big pharma domination of preventive medicine or even curative medicines. where huge sums of money are at stake. And so when we challenge Big Pharma, we have to be ready for a fight. Now, I'm so happy that the Canadian government, for the first time, has recognized that they need to permit Ayurvedic medicine to be sold as with the Western medicines as on par, and that is because of the power of our diaspora. So I think the Ayurvedic diaspora has to be much more vocal in demanding from their own markets what they need to satisfy their medical needs. But if we keep carrying on talking about traditional Ayurvedic medicine, the Dr. Grundys will win the argument because they are repackaging us with different names and making billions of money using these formulations.
Rishi, thank you so much for pointing out these two very key issues that are the big challenges for us. And Sri Lanka is very special in this because in June 1929, together with the British government then, they established what was called the Swadeshia Vaidya Vidyalaya, the indigenous medical college in Colombo. And prior to that, the history goes back, the Sinhalese Medical Association from 1891, several other organizations have played a very, very important role in, even before India perhaps had some established structures. This was already recognized in Sri Lanka. And we are very fortunate to have both of yourselves, yourself and Shantaji, to be here with us. And yourself, Neeraj, you have experienced the cut and thrust in Parliament. You have seen how parliamentarians behave. Please let us hear from Shantaji what he has experienced in the UK environment. Shantaji.
First, yes, it's very interesting that Member of Parliament Neeraj, he clearly mentioned the historical background. I can add to that, actually, the experiences I have had. First experience with the drug lobby was my experience over 35 years ago when I represented the UK in first holistic medical conference in Sweden. Sadly, organizers and some participants been threatened by the drug lobby, and they came to disturb the conference, and we had to hand over the people. We had to call the police at that time and then hand it over. You know, all these people came to disturb the conference. So that is the opposition we faced at the very beginning. Now, that kind of opposition, we don't see that much now, but we see that opposition under the carpet. So that is how I put it. Because with my experiences with the health establishments over 15 years as an advisor to the British government, and I have seen that. So to iron out that, I have advised even with the Amarjit Bumrah to come forward a political front, which is the all-party parliamentary group for traditional health sciences. So we need not only the battle with the officials, we need the battle with the politicians. So this is a two-front battle in the UK now. I hope the Europe and America and Canada, they will follow the same, getting the politicians on our side. So that is the message, Madan. And of course, I must add to your history. I remember you saying that, you know, you must mention here that, you know, we are talking about Sri Lanka and your very close relative, Dr. Panikkar, is one of the principals in Sri Lanka in a College of Ayurveda. He was one of the great names in Sri Lanka at our time. So
thank you for, Shantaji, thank you for mentioning this. Yes, perhaps for Neeraj, I must say that Captain N. and Panikkar, the founding principal of the school, which has become today the Institute for Indigenous Medicine in Colombo, was my mother's uncle. maternal uncle. So there is a connection here, which I can see being played out in a very, very nice way, in that you are here having trained in Colombo in UK. Neeraj has experienced the challenges in Brussels, working as a parliamentarian. And these are difficult issues, but as you say, Shantaji, these are getting resolved now. We have less of that tension, and perhaps the WHO Center for Global Traditional Medicine, the Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar, will add to diluting some of these tensions. And I don't know if Naranji wanted to comment about this. Naranji, if Naranji,
Yes.
Naranji,
Yes.
you know, you could hear from our two speakers about the big challenges they have faced personally, and also the wish for the future. Where do you think we can integrate with the goings on in India, very important developments in many areas? Do you feel it is too early, or we are timing it correctly, or are we too late, or do we have to improvise?
No, the timing is perfect, like I said. I think some of the points is it's what has happened for the Ayurvedic and traditional medicines initiate of the past is different. Today we are in a new world order. So this is the world of health nationalism, health globalization, and lot of new global institutions have come up. Look at what is happening with WHO, and look at what is happening with world trade organizations, etc., are seriously looking at. And we even had the United Nations talk about a percentage of their sustainable development goals is also into preventive health and wellness space. So I think the battle is new, the context is new, and the positioning for traditional medicines is also completely new. The learnings of the past are important, but it may not have much value in the present battle which we are facing. Now, I think as we discussed, the entry point is in preventive health. I think that's where the entire medical fraternity is looking for new solutions, new options. And how this will shape up is yet to be seen, but we don't have a fight with the, we don't want to get into who's better and who's not. So that is not a battle or a space we want to be in. We want to go to the world and tell them how Ayurveda can help them improve their preventive health and reduce the propensity to require, a doctor or a treatment or a visit, etc., etc. There are so many chronic diseases, lifestyle diseases, and so many such health interventions which are required, where Ayurveda could really be a big player in preventive health. So the battle is not us versus somebody else. I think the battle versus humanity and what we have to offer, and coming out with a framework to fight this together along with others who are trying to do this.
Naranji, thank you. You know, that point about emphasis on prevention, I want to draw Neeraj here. Neeraj, you are advising the government, the president.
I think we have still missed the point. If somebody makes a formulation in, say, in Berkshire to cure a headache better than with paracetamol or ibuprofen, and calls it something else and gets the approvals and then markets it, it's not called Western medicine. So why is it that we package everything and call it Ayurveda and then run up against a brick wall? Why do we create a brick wall for ourselves for us to climb over it later? If our formulations work and they cure disease, we just make an application like anybody else does without labeling it Ayurveda. The moment you do that, you separate yourself. Now, the Chinese have not done that. Chinese traditional medicine is all over Europe because they don't bracket it and say this is whatever it should be called. They don't. It's their medicine.
There is a clear tension that you are highlighting.
No,
And
I'm saying we are creating obstacles
for
to
ourselves.
our cures being marketed in the West by labeling it as Ayurveda, something separate. Whereas the Californian doctors now are taking our formulations, putting it into, and going to the internet, there's thousands and thousands of our formulations now being put in bottles and in pills and sold without being called Ayurveda.
Now, Neeraj, the question here is what is in your mind, the vision that you have for yourself in terms of what you've just highlighted? Second thing, with Sri Lanka as a nation, what are you suggesting? Because there might be something we can learn from that.
Let me try and explain what I'm saying. I straddle both cultures. I've always in my life straddled the European and British political culture, and of course, being from Sri Lanka, coming from a political family. So in my mind, I'm always translating how to present universal truths in ways that are acceptable to a particular culture. When I went into the European Parliament and started talking in the British idiomatic political culture, they did not understand a word I was saying. And I had to then re-engineer my thinking to say, for example, I will just tell you a story. In my maiden speech, I just said to the speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy to be here, but I know you have had a very long day. And as Henry VIII would have said to his many wives, I shan't be keeping you for too long. The entire British audience laughed. The French and the Germans scratched their heads and said, what the hell is he talking about? So, there is a way of even making a joke that is humorous to one group of people and totally baffling to another set of people. So when we come with labels, and our world is run on labels, fashion labels, everything is a brand now.
Yeah.
Once we brand ourselves Ayurveda, we are creating a barrier.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I think Shantaji,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, actually, your point is a very valid point. The Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Neeraj, because I have come across this situation with the MHRA in licensing program. Because the thing is now what the manufacturers, particularly the Western manufacturers, they have all the backing from the laboratory facilities and all the facilities they have in-house already, Western drug manufacturers. All they need to do is to incorporate or include Ayurveda herb or even the Chinese herb, and together with the European herbs. So they come up with the global formulas, and without mentioning the name of original mean this come at least they should respect the system. Ayurveda, at least they must mention the name of Ayurveda after the ingredient they have
clove
selected.
oil.
Yeah.
Clove oil.
Yes.
Hello, it's okay.
I think we have.
Yeah. So therefore, now, for example, we don't see that happening in India or Sri Lanka. When they manufacture a product in Sri Lanka, it is 100% guaranteed Ayurvedic products, but they are not including any Western herbs or Chinese herbs. Same in China. When they manufacture 100% Chinese. They don't even mix with the Ayurvedic herb, but there are some Ayurvedic herbs grown in China too, but that's a different story. But in the West, for the marketing reasons, they are including these Ayurveda and Chinese herbs. The politically you are correct that because they must at least pay respect to the system by mentioning, because they do market under the trade name. So trade name and then the ingredients list. So yeah.
Professor, you're absolutely right. Now, for example, clove oil
Yeah.
for teeth, toothache, in Europe has been used for 150 years, but as clove oil. And I've met old women who, when I have had a toothache, say, "Oh dear, try our clove oil." Now I'm
Yeah.
looking at this and saying, hey, this is not your clove oil. This is our clove oil,
Our
which you
clove.
don't know it is ours because no one has branded it as our clove oil. The
Yeah.
moment you sell Signal
Yeah.
toothpaste, when it says clove oil, it's fine. But if you put Signal toothpaste, Ayurvedic coal oil, finish.
Finish.
Won't go.
Yeah. Exactly.
I
It
think
could be
not,
a very, very insightful point. I think what Honorable Rich Deva is suggesting and Dr. Shantaji is suggesting, I think they seems to have a very pertinent point. I would request the eminent scholars in this forum, Dr. Madan and Dr. Harish, to think about this. The question is basically, as I understand, why obsession to tag everything Ayurveda? Why can't you just say we have this solution which can solve your problem better and easier? Why this obsession to write on our forehead an Ayurveda? Because you're inviting enemies for want of no reason. Where does this Ayurveda tag gets you? Do you get market access because of this? Do you get higher price?
No.
Do you get support? Why
No.
obsession to call it Ayurveda? I think that's the point which they're taking. It's a very important, to me, it's a breakthrough discussion in terms of the insightfulness of this point. Our objective is to bring about this network and solve issues that mankind is facing today and make this a viable commercial global practice. So what is the obsession with Ayurveda is a point which they're taking. I don't think it can be dissolved, but thanks Nirji and Dr. Shanta to both reflect this point. I think this is a very insightful and a very important discussion. I tend to agree, but it's for the eminent scholarship of Dr. Madan and Dr. Harish Verma and the rest of the fraternity of technical practitioners, etc., to think about it. It has a merit to what he says.
I think, Naranji, thank you for seconding what Nirji was saying. I think we'll take a last word from the president of the Canadian College of Ayurveda Yoga, Harish Vermaji. And I know this is it will not be something that will be resolved. The sentiments are deep, the reasons are many, and perhaps Harishji can touch on this briefly. Harishji, it's a very contentious issue. About let me add my little bit here for Nirji and for Gurgamaji, that what we are, I suppose one of the points that is being raised is that there is a lot of knowledge to be still uncovered in the traditional systems.
Yeah.
So that's an important point. There is a lot more than those small ingredients and chemicals. So there is much more. It's a large body of knowledge. There is an epistemological basis for it. There is a certain foundation for it. And there is a gold mine of information waiting to be uncovered. So that is one reason why the label for the traditional systems. We are already seeing the whole area of the fast-moving consumer goods. Perhaps we don't want the depth of the tradition to be so closely connected with what we see as fast-moving consumer goods. There is much more in it. That is my part. It is a long discussion, but I just want to hear from Harishji before we go to our speakers. Thank you, Harishji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. My intake is that we should respect Ayurveda. We should respect the knowledge of Ayurveda. We should respect that the ownership of Ayurveda is India is having ownership of Ayurveda, because now the time has come. It's a question of ownership, because the era of patent is going on all over the world. Everybody is saying, this is my knowledge, this is my medicine. People are getting patented. So in this struggle, India has to take a leap for becoming a owner of Ayurveda. These are my views. So that is the reason we should protect, we should promote, and we should practice Ayurveda. This is the objective what we are promoting here.
Harishi, thank you for being so clear. We will keep, Neerajji, thank you for pointing out that one issue. You will appreciate, from your perspective, you have an aeronautical engineering background. You've studied in Loughborough here in the UK. And sometimes the sentiments and the depth of the epistemology might be not so clear to somebody who is not as deeply involved with Ayurveda like Shantaji, perhaps. So, but your point is extremely important. And I think it is a debate that is going to continue as we progress, as we continue.
Just one point. Tomorrow we are going to announce who is going to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Now, in that entire debate as to whether it should be Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak, has the word Indian been applied to Sunak? Doesn't matter. But if he said our boy, Indian boy, we have to claim ownership of Rishi Sunak, and he's now going to be the new Prime Minister. We have that. Our chap is doing this. And you know, all this stuff we normally do, Rishi would have been destroyed. Rishi Sunak is as British as you are, or anybody else is, or English, or global, universal.
So, before we draw, your point is taken, before we draw this to a close, I just want to put some numbers on the table. And this is for United Kingdom. A daily expenditure for type 2 diabetes in the National Health Service is about 25 million pounds. There are a lot of patients, a lot of people who suffer from type 2 diabetes who seem inadequately serviced by whatever is available on the table for them. Now, if there was another system, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Indian, whether it's Korean, whether it's Japanese, would it not be fair to have that on the table, number one, and also give recognition for where that knowledge comes from?
No. Knowledge is universal.
Universal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you, sir.
Can I add the
Shanta,
point?
please. Yes,
Can
please.
I add the point while the Niraj is in here with us? I've been discussed this point, and also I have raised this point in the British Parliament too. And the point is it fair for British government or European government to spend 100% of the public funds on national, Western-oriented national health service? What is the fairness? And we all, Asians, Chinese, various other communities, we all contribute to the central fund by paying tax. And what is have we got the human rights here? What are our human rights? Accessibility for the global medical systems under the democratic political principles. So the policies has to be changed. The certain percentage should be allocated to the traditional medical systems by the annual budgets. Then only we can progress further politically. When the policy making taking place at the higher level, then we can play our game fairly.
Thank you, Shantaji.
Very interesting. On a lighter note, I think Nirj, being a politician, gave us inputs like a global entrepreneur, and Dr. Shanta, from a medical professional, spoke to us like a politician. So thank you very much, both of you.
I do make that point always, like a politician.
Absolutely.
Nirji, thank you so much for joining us today. Please stay with us if time permits, because we will have a few moments for discussions as we continue and listen to our two experts. Shantaji, please stay with us. Thank you for sharing the different perspectives. And I think it is these differences that adds richness to these discussions. And it is this richness that also raises up to the political point where some issues need a different way of engagement. Thank you again for being with us, sir. If you are able, if time permitting, if you can stay with us, you can listen to our two speakers, to our two experts talking about a traditional formulation that has been with us for thousands of years. It continues to work. Why not the rest of the world use it? So with those few words, I request perhaps Harish ji to take us into our first speaker. We are very fortunate to have Ashlesha ji joining us from Chicago. Ashlesha ji, thank you so much for being with us. Do share your thoughts and comments on what is being discussed here, because you bring us the richness of the perspectives from America, from USA. So while we wait for our Ashlesha ji to comment, perhaps she'll think about this and give us some thoughts as we progress towards the question discussion section of the program. I welcome our first speaker, Shardul Chavan. Shardul ji, namaskar.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Namaskar. Thank you so much for joining us from Mumbai today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.
I hope, number one, I hope you could see the level of expertise in terms of the politician's mind and how it works, and also the Shantaji, who is passionate about Ayurveda, and how there is a difference in how they look at the same problem. And now we look forward to learning from you about this very important traditional formulation, how it's prepared, what are the ingredients, how you came into it. But before you start, please tell us a little bit for our audience. They would like to know a little bit more about yourself and how you came into Ayurveda and why you are passionate about Ayurveda.
Sure, sir. Welcome you all. I'm Dr. Shardul Chavan. I'm MD Ayurveda in Rasa Shastra and Bhaishajya Kalpana. That is the medicine preparations and their other clinical evaluations of new chemical entities. So I basically studied my UG in RA Pudha and PG in a YMT, Yerla Medical. I have done my master's over there. So I came in Ayurveda just because as we have started with the medicines, and I'm very curious about the herbal medicines, how they used to prepare, how they used to act. Because from the as we used to say, from the ancient times, as in also my grandmother used to have some kadha, some churna they used to give me when I used to feel ill or something like that. So during that, it's came in the mind ki how it is working, what is their scientific things. And when I have done my CET, my entrance exam, during that we have having they have options about the Ayurveda or what it is. So in that we have started with I came into a UG graduation for Ayurveda. And slowly, when this is the first time when I came to Ayurveda, I started learning about the Ayurveda, what it is, how their scientific approach is there. First year, I like I used to be what is it, what it is exactly, how the reference are going on, what they have written. And slowly as I proceed, as I reach for the graduation, till graduation, I came to know how it is working and what the exactly expertise are there. Then, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So after that, when I went to my masters, during that I came deeply that the one medicine can they have so many references in the diseases, like the rog. There is a two major things like a roga gnata and roga dikar in Ayurveda. That is mean the one medicine is mainly used in a particular disease, and the other sub disease or other sub things which that can be used. So that I that is the main thing which I like in a Rasa Shastra, because in a Bhaishajya Kalpana, you started learning about the medicine, that one medicine can be used in so many diseases. So in that, I have started doing this, and my passion is to study, to teach everyone in Ayurveda. That's why I am in that teaching profession. In a Sayan Ayurveda, I am an honorary assistant professor in Sayan Ayurveda in Bhaishajya Kalpana.
Thank you,
So from that-
Shahrudji.
Yes.
Let us continue with your presentation. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for elaborating how you came into Ayurveda. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So should I share with my PPT?
Please.
Yeah.
I hope there are no problems displaying your PowerPoint.
You can lower your figure to the camera a little bit.
Yeah.
Is it Shardul? If you are having some problems, maybe I can try and share the screen from here.
Yes, because I'm.
You're having problems? Okay. Let me see
Yeah.
if I can do it from here.
Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you so much. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sitopaladi Churna, the preparations, okay. The main shloka, the main reference of the Sitopaladi. Next, please. The main shloka of Sitopaladi Churna has been mentioned in the Charak Samhita text, in a Rajayakshma Rogadikar, and also in a Bhaishajya Ratnavali. So Sitopala Tugakshiri Pippali Bahula Tvacha Ante Urdhva Dvigunam Lehayat Madhu Sarpisha. They have some different things. It's Lehayat Madhu Sarpisham. Okay, so first two shlokas are very important for the preparation, because they have mentioned the ingredients, they have mentioned the proportion, in what proportion you should take those ingredients, and they have mentioned with Anupana. Anupana means with how you should take the medicine. So we will discuss first two shlokas, and then we will come into other four shlokas in which they have mentioned their rogadikar, means in which disease you should use the Sitopaladi Churna. Next, please. Thank you, sir. So according to shloka, they are having main 5 ingredients. Okay, why the proportion, why that ingredients into a lines are important? Because according to them, according to that sequence, they have mentioned their proportion also. So Sitopala, Tugakshiri, Pippali, Bahula, Tvachaha. So Sitopala means a sugar, a candy sugar. Is the sugar in Ayurveda we used to call a Khanda Sharkara, that is the non-sulfurdized sugar. Okay, the sugar cubes. It is of a 16 part of the total churna. Then we are going for a Tugakshiri. Tugakshiri is nothing but the Vanshalochana, that is known as a bamboo silica. Okay, which has been made from the female bamboo. When female bamboo is of the 40 years, that time into nodes of that bamboo silica has to be formed. But nowadays the bamboo silicas are very rare. So we used to have the tabashir, that is the Farsi synonym of a bamboo silica, but from the different plant. That plant is known as an Curcuma augusfolia. That tabashir used to be made. Otherwise, in substance, otherwise we used to have the bamboo ash instead of the bamboo silica, where we are having some amount of a bamboo silica into it. Otherwise, we are having a synthetic Vanshalochana, which has to be made in a lab with the help of the sodium and ammonium silicates. They have not mentioned any kind of the side effects for those of synthetic Vanshalochana or the tapashir or the bamboo ash. So we are using this from the, it means the so many pharmaceuticals in the India are using this kind of the synthetic Vanshalochana for the preparations of the Sitopaladi Churna. Then our third ingredient, which is having a 4 part in a total churna is Pippali, is known as an Piper longum, is slightly different from the Piper nigrum, which is known as a marich or a black pepper, we used to call in a common name. But Piper longum, which is having a 4 parts. Okay. Then we are having Ela, that is known as an cardemom, which is having a 2 part of that whole churna. Then the Dalchini, which is known as in Twak, cinnamon is 1 part of that whole churna. If you see the action of those all of the churnas, is like first is the sugar is having a good expectorant property, as well as because of the sweetness in Ayurveda we used to call a madhur rasa. Because of that they can increase the cough, and it is very easy to easy to expel out the cough which is in there, which is in the lung, which has been sticked out because of the dry cough. This Sitopaladi Churna is mainly used in a dry cough because of the heavy amount of this sugar. Then Vanshalochana is having the property to liquefy the cough, and also it is a good expectorant. Even the Tabashir is having the same action, pharmaceutical action. It has been proven that they are having the same pharmaceutical action. Then we are going for a Piper longum, which are having a bronchodilator as well as the reducing property of a cough. According to Ayurveda, the cough is generated in a stomach. According to Ayurveda, their phenomena. So that to generate the purified cough, or to reduce the excessive of cough, the Piper longum is used in this formulation. Then we are having Ela, which is very good expectorant. It is help to liquefy the cough, and also its main action is known as a Ayurvedic, in Ayurvedic terminology, it is known as a chardigna. The meaning of chardigna, when we are having excessive of cough, when we can't expel out the cough, that time we felt like a vomiting sensation will be there. To prevent that vomiting sensation, the Ela, the cardamom, is action is that has been triggered. Is that's why it is known as a chardigna, that it prevent the emesis sensation. So we can easily expel out the cough. Then next is Dalchini, which is known as a cinnamon. They are having to reduce the cough and excessive cough production. So and the Piper longum, which is Pippali, and Dalchini cinnamon, they have proven scientifically as an anti-tubercular drug, because their volatile oils are useful in a tuberculosis. Next, please. So my main motto is to prepare, how we can prepare, because all of these contents are mainly available in your kitchen. So this is the very simple formulation which you can easily prepare in a house base. There is no need of any kind of a pharmaceutical basis. You can easily prepare in your house. So first is cardamom, cinnamon, and Piper longum has to roast in a very low flame. See, we can't roast in a high flame, or because their volatile oil can easily get evaporated. But the roasting is important, because without that we can't, triturate it, or we can't make them into a powder. So that's why for a proper fine powder, the low flame, you have to roast it on low flame. Then all ingredients should be crushed or blend separately, because when you have to add proportionally, you have to add after being in a powder. So when we have crushed or blend separately, then all ingredients should be mesh, or should be filtered from the mesh number 44 to 85. This mesh number is palatably, the particle size used to be in a churna form, so that we can easily leak it out. We can easily take orally because of these particle sizes. So particle size has to be between 44 to 85. Then mix the as we have given in the proportion, that sugar has to be in a 16 part. Then Tugakshira, that Vanshalochana, has to be in a 8 part. In that these parts, that filtered churna has to be mixed out, and then after that we can keep into airtight jar. But where the areas are high moisture, like where the we are having moisture content is more, or rainy seasons, in those seasons, the sugar is very hygroscopic. If we mixed directly, they can easily, get fungal growths in the this kind of the churnas because of the high level of the sugar. So in that we can keep sugar aside, and when we have to use the churna, other mixtures can be mixed with the that particular sugar. So that is the one of the thing which we can do. Other things, other point which we can do with this Sitopaladi Churna is Sitopaladi Churna tablet. Okay, even the Talisadi Churna, Sitopaladi Churna, they can be mixed and they can make in a tablet form, so that can be feasible. They can easily carried out anywhere you can have. So we have to just add more more 2 times of the sugar. As we are having 62 times of the sugar, that is for a normal churna, we have to add a more 16 times of a churna, that is dviguni, that is twice of that particular amount, so that we can convert into a chewable tablets. So now Sitopaladi chewable tablets or Talisadi chewable tablets are available, so that we can make in a tablet form. So they can be easily carried out and we can easily go with anywhere. So there is a one question always asked by the patients that we are having, as the Dr. Madan sir also said, there is diabetic patients are increasing so many. So in Ayurveda, there are so many Vaidyas used to use the toddy sugar. We used to call it Yasa Sharkara, the toddy sugar, instead of the normal sugar, which can be easily used in a Sitopaladi Churna instead of normal sugar in a diabetic patients. So that can be, one of the formulations can be changed the things if we in a diabetic patients. So next, very important question is how to take. So as in a second language, in a second slok, they have specified Lehayet Madhu Sarpisham. Okay, if we see the medicines which are specifically used for a cough, which are specifically used in upper respiratory tract infections, they are always in a Leha form. That means always in a leaking, the semi-solid constituent. Why in a semi-solid? Because the action should be started from the your throat. Okay, so from that, when you leak it, that time only your action gets started. So that is the main point why they have in a semi-solid consistency. So how you should mix? You should mix with the honey and the ghee. Okay, but that should be in an unequal proportion, because in an equal proportion of honey and ghee, according to Ayurveda, it is poisonous. So you should not take honey and ghee in a equal proportion. So always has to be ghee in a major proportion and honey has to be in a less proportion, as depend on the condition of the patients. It can be a vice versa also. So the nominal, the dosage is 3 to 4 gram TDS, or can be directed as a physician. Means it depends. Sometimes in Ayurveda, we used to call Shwasakasa Mur there. Mur means you have to be, it's a continuous process, that 4 QIDS or 5 times a day also can be taken. It depends on the situation. It depends on the condition of the patients, how much you should take for the dosage. So it's always depends on the kal, it's always depend on the things. So that is the main thing of the preparation of the Sitopaladi Churna, which can be easily prepared over there. I just want to briefly tell you about their Rogagnata in the shlokas what they have mentioned. Previous slide, can you please do it for me? Second slide. Thank you, sir. Second. Yes. So in that Churna Rashayet Shwasakasa Chayapaham Supta Jiva Arochikan Mandagni Parsha Shulinim Hastapada Dayashu Jware Rakte Tatho Urdwange. They have written. So this Churna is mainly used in a specifically Shwasakasa Chayapaham. Raja Yakshma is their main motto of this Churna, that is can be correlated with the tuberculosis of the lung. Okay, but Shwasakasa means although even a normal cough, although in a normal asthma, this can be used in a muhurmur. So your expectorants will increase and the Shwasavek, that is asthmatic periodic asthma, will come down slowly and slowly. It is specifically used, which we have observed in a patient, that is Supta Jiva Arochikin. When the patient used to come to you and they said that we don't have, we are not finding out the test bud, we can't realize what test it is, specifically after we said after fever, all in a COVID sensation also, we didn't have that specific thing ki we don't have test into our bud. So according to Ayurveda, we are having a bodhak cuff on our tongue, okay, which is known as a so this Sitopaladi Churna is basically a kafagna. When we just rub it out, the Sitopaladi Churna on our tongue surface, we will this periodically we will start getting the test bodhak cough, okay, because of which we used to have Supta Jiva and Arochikan. In this also we used to use the Sitopaladi Churna. Specifically Mandagni, when we are talking about the Mandagni, it is indigestion, but in which indigestion? Where the cough is more. So specifically in a pediatric patients, the Sitopaladi Churna Mandagni will treat in a very well, as we have observed in our patients also. Then specifically, as we have said, ki Sitopaladi Churna permutation combinations are basically depends on the kapha pitta. So in Hastapada Daheshu, when patient used to come to us that we are having a particularly burning sensation to our palms and soles, in that also uh, if we give the Sitopaladi Churna in a particular amount, so the effect is very good. These things which I have observed in my practice, so I like to share these things because specifically is that Supta Jiva, when they are tingling sensation to your tongue, when there is a slurred speech, when there is no test buds are active, in that thing Sitopaladi Churna is also used in a very well. As the sir said, ki in a COVID pandemic, we used Sitopaladi Churna in a lots of amounts in a permutation combinations. Depends on the patient's conditions. We have used a lot Sitopaladi Churna. So that's all for the Sitopaladi Churna, and the session open for the questions if you have to ask anything.
Yes,
Thank you.
Shadruji, thank you so much. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for elaborating from the shlokas just how much detail is offered in the texts, and the indications are very clearly specified. I want to bring into this discussion Dr. Ashlesha ji and also Shanta ji, perhaps Shanta ji and also Ashlesha ji joining us from Chicago. Shanta ji, please.
Yes, surely. Thank you very much, Dr. Shawan. It's very informative and very interesting talk.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
a couple of questions in my mind is that because of being the most important ingredient in this formulation, Vanshalochana,
Yeah.
and you mentioned that it is it a common practice in India now to produce Vanshalochana artificial, synthetically, and or not encouraging manufacturers to go into a good agricultural practice and obtain the natural substance in it to the formulation? And the second question is, when you add, it is a bit technical, when you add synthetic Vanshalochana into the formulation, we all know that all the herbs possess 5 qualities, the 5 qualities of Rasa, Guna, Virya, Vipaka, Prabhava. And so those 5 qualities are missing in the synthetic preparation. So how do you deal with that? How you address, or have they done parallel studies to differentiate under the clinical settings to identify the difference effectiveness? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. So yet now they have not notified any kind of the first. I used to tell there is not such types of research has been done about the Rasaguna Virya Vipak, but they have seen the similar action, the pharmaceutical action about the synthetic preparation of the sodium bamboo silica, Vanshalochana. But more practice of Vanshalochana is used to be have that tabashir, which is in a Unani medicine they used to have. The original plant is different of tabashir. It is Curcuma augustifolia, and Indian bambusa is different plant. Okay, but the Curcuma augustifolia showing the similar effects as the Vanshalochana is showing. They are having the Rasaguna Virivipak almost similar to the that of the Vanshalochana. So most probably they are using that. Otherwise, the bamboo ash which they are using, because as you said, the naturally practice of occurring the agriculturally of that Vanshalochana, it is not that much of practicing because of the years of the age what they have the need for formulation of the Vanshalochana. It is almost 25 to 40 years is required for that female bamboo to formulate that Vanshalochana into those nodes. So because of which, and as the demand is more, so we have to supply the Vanshalochana very fast. So because of that, they used to have the first is tabashir. Otherwise, the another option is the bamboo ash which they are using, okay, which are having a very little bit amount of the Vanshalochana into it, as they are having in their nodes itself. So as you said about the Rasa Virya Vipak, yet not there is not yet any scientific review or the scientific what we said the literature has been published about the Rasaguna Virya Vipak of the synthetic Vanshalochana. But yes, for the bamboo ash, for the tabashirs, they are having the scientific reviews for that instead of Vanshalochana, as the tabashir is the synonym of Vanshalochana in a Farsi itself.
Shardul, thank you. I'm going to interrupt here because I want to just very quickly hear from Shantaji what happens in Sri Lanka, and then I also want to have Ashleshaji just to comment on this.
I think from Sri Lankan point of view, I haven't heard any of those synthetic preparations being added to it. Somehow, I don't know how they obtain it, but there seems to be somehow who managed to get the natural ingredient in it into the formulation. So therefore, so
Shantaji, this is a very important question because it touches some areas of biodiversity, it touches some of those areas of sustainable cultivation, etc. And maybe we will take this question as offline, sir. We will discuss this because there will be many other ingredients which come into this area of sustainable cultivation, etc.
There are, because I must add to that, because Sri Lanka is very rich in bamboo cultivation everywhere. There's so many different varieties, and so it's a question of finding the right one. But thousands of years it's been grown over there. So
we will come back to this point, especially when we come to some species. Ashleshaji, namaskar.
Yeah, so just thank you, Madanji, and I have two comments. I mean, you asked question previously, and just want to answer that, as well as I have some comments for Dr. Shardul for beautiful presentation. So first to answer, I mean, let's finish this Sitopaladi question quickly for Dr. Shardul. Dr. Shardul, you mentioned that this is a churna. You are a Bhaishajya Kalpana major, right? Your master's is in Rasashastra Bhaishajya Kalpana. So can you explain that how the churna becomes tablet and still? So as I understand, it has been mentioned with the layam, right? You have to add the madhusarvi, you have to add the honey in it and then lick it and then give it. Would you get the same effect if you take in a tablet form and swallow it?
Definitely
of
not,
course, as a swallow, you will get it effect, but how would you explain that it is been working on the throat aspect?
Yeah, as you say, ma'am, definitely not that much of effect as you convert into a tablet, because the original form is a leha. you have to lick it. Okay,
Yeah.
as you lick it, that action will start from mouth only. That
Yeah.
oral absorption will start.
Great.
When you have to convert it to see, as so many of them are saying that market is asking for something.
Yeah.
So because of that, the churna is converted into a tablet.
Yeah.
Definitely, when you are
Yeah, thank you.
taking, yeah,
Right.
definitely
Yeah,
when
I
you
know.
are
So
taking
it
in
is
the original
again
form.
right. So
Yeah, yeah.
we are coming to the perspective of market, right?
Yeah.
Is it so, Madanji? Now, to answer your question, that market, when you are saying, actually in US we have the great market for Ayurveda. The word Ayurveda would sell more if you would put something in
Exactly.
as
Yeah.
Ayurveda. So
That's why we are
it's
not. That is why we are not favoring the tablet form in Ayurveda, because the healing starts from tongue. So you must taste the medicine as the first line of healing. Yeah,
Ashleshaji, your point is, sorry to interrupt here, your point is very important, because Niraji, who was here before us, he says the word Ayurveda is provides resistance in the market. On the contrary, you are saying Ayurveda is actually a market facilitator.
I would say that, yes. I mean, at
Thank
least
you.
in US, based on US, I would say that it is a word. It's
Which
selling
actually
now.
opens the market up. Thank you
Yes.
so much,
And
Ashleshaji, because it's
can you
lovely to
explain
hear this
this, if
perspective
it is
from
possible?
America. Shradulji, please.
Yeah, ma'am said that it is a open market if you say Ayurveda. So we have to discuss about it, that what the norms is there, so that we can use in Ayurveda. As we have heard that minerals and metals are not available, not allowed in a US market, and our rasa aushadhis are prohibited over there. So is only a Bhaishajya Kalpana is the market in a US, that herbs is to be used in a as in whole Ayurveda? Because I am the Rasa Shastra Bhaishajya Kalpana student or practitioner.
Yeah, I do agree, Dr. Shardul, that Rasa Shastra Bhaishajya Kalpana has Rasa Aushadhis are there. But of course, Ayurveda is not only the Rasa Aushadhis, right? If you would see from the Acharya Charka perspective, then we definitely have the huge line of other things as well. So not necessarily we should be only sticking to the rasaushadhis. Those things will also come when the more research and when everything will happen. But as of now, if we are understanding in the, even if the simplest thing of Ayurvedas can be taken up, that is no. I mean, we should not be only restricted. Oh, rasaushadhis are not, are not easily entering into the. That's fine. We have still so many other things, and please understand that rasaushadhis are not only the rasa, and I mean, of course, it is a mercury and all, but you're talking about. There are so many other bhasmas also, right?
Thank you so much, Ashleshaji. Please, you have what most important point you've said is contrary to what our Niraji said, that Ayurveda prevents the growth of a market, and what you are saying is, in fact, it's a facilitator. So this is wonderful. Now, this is the beauty of these opposing views. Harishji,
yes,
you have a...
yes. Dr. Madanji, I have to make 2 points. First is Ayurveda is our identity. We can't lose Ayurveda. If we will not say it is Ayurveda, then we can't use the track record of Ayurveda of 5,000 years. So Ayurveda is our identity. We have to mention that these are the references coming from Ayurveda. These are the references coming from Charak Samhita, Sushruta Samhita. It's all written. These are documented. We can't say it's not Ayurveda, it's merely the herbal. It's not like that. Ayurveda is our identity, and we are protecting our identity.
Thank you.
One. Second, I want to come back to Dr. Shanta's question. As far as the pharmacological action of any ingredient for medicine is concerned, it is mainly based on prabhava. However, in Ras Panchaka, we all see Ras Gun Virya Vipak, but when the question of medicine comes, then we mainly focus on prabhava. This is one. Second, when when there is a question of huge demand, as we know, Vanshalochana is not so much available. It is used in Chavanprash, it is used in Sitopaladi Churna and Talisadi Churna. In many preparations it is used, but it is not so much available in India. So it is a common practice of the industry. Wherever is a scarcity of any ingredient, then the scientist or the industry, they develop a synthetic molecule of that ingredient. It's a common practice. And the synthetic molecule which is available now as Vanshalochana is almost 99% equal to the natural molecule as far as the prabhav is concerned. So these are my points. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So anybody who not understand the prabhava means post-digestive effect.
Prabhava is
No, prabhava is
a major pharmacological action.
Yeah, pharmacological action.
Major
The
pharmacological.
ultimate effect to the
Yes,
body.
ultimate. Yes.
Thank you. I think it's so wonderful to have this lively discussion. Neeraj unfortunately has left us, so we are not able to convey him the key points that Harishji highlights, which is also touches the big, Naranji might be listening to us, it touches the big issue of soft power also. There is a deep history that goes to over 5,000 plus years, and we cannot compromise on that. And that itself provides a huge body of evidence that validates the reason for why we want these traditional preparations. These traditional preparations have worked for thousands of years. They will continue to work. And it might seem that this is a very important way to reach the large number of people who are wanting medical care at a time when there are not enough of manpower or enough of appropriate procedures to help people. So there are many issues here which need further debate. So thank you, Ashlesha-ji, for highlighting one or two specific points. Thank you, Harish-ji. We'll come back to this. And most of all, Shardul-ji, thank you for your very clear presentation. With a very small number of slides, you have taken us into the heart of this problem. You took us into the text. You showed us how to make the formulation. You highlighted certain points and you came back to the key reference and gave us the fine details of how it is to be used. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
Please stay with us because there will be questions that come on. We will move on to our next expert speaker today, Anita ji. Anita ji, namaskar. Anita Vanjari ji joins us from Varda. Varda, of course, is known to the world as the place that Gandhiji decided to spend time. Namaskar ji, thank you for joining us today from Varda. The floor is yours. Looking forward to learning from you about this traditional formulation. Namaskar. Anita ji, I think we have lost Anita ji. Anita ji, Anita ji is back. Anita ji, if there is some difficulty with loading up the presentation, I could try and do it from here. In the meanwhile, we are happy to have
Sir, it is visible. Hello.
Anita ji, namaskar.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Hi, I'm audible.
We can hear you, please.
Yes, and
Anita ji, आपका presentation. We are very fortunate to have Dr. Pratibha Shah joining us from the.
He has a question.
Anita ji, thank you.
so, sorry, there is some network issue. So
I can see the picture now.
should I start, sir?
Please, yes.
Yeah, we see the picture. Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Madanji, I think the network, there's a network problem for Anitaji.
Anitaji, no mind.
Yeah. Maybe the area.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hanji, Anitaji, the floor is yours.
I'm audible, sir.
We can hear you clearly, yes.
Hello.
Your
Yes, we
presentation
can
is
hear
not-
you, Dr. Anita. We can hear you.
We can hear you. Maybe you can continue, then maybe the picture come later.
You can.
I think, Dr. Madanji, there is a network problem. In the meantime, we can ask Dr. Ashlesha ji to share her experience about
the use of.
Sitopaladi Churna.
Thank you, Ashlesha ji. Thank you very much. Harish ji, we are also very fortunate to have Pratibha Shah joining us from East Coast.
Yes,
I don't know who is controlling the Zoom platform. If we could,
we'll try.
We could invite Pratibha ji to join. Ashlesha ji, namaskar ji. Your experience with use of this formulation in practice in America, in India, or elsewhere.
Yes, so thank you, Madanji. And this is, as Shardulji already mentioned, this is a beautiful, beautiful product. And I'm 100% sure that it is hardly anyone, any Vaidya in anywhere in the world, anywhere, not only in US or not only in India, that has not used Sitopaladi. So not just any Vaidya, but any newcomer who know the Ayurveda and who know the Sitopaladi. In the US, basically, US education, we teach Sitopaladi at a very first level of education, which we say that Ayurveda health counselor level. Even for that level also we teach Sitopaladi Churna. So it is absolutely common formulation and wonderful formulation also. My specific, like everybody uses Sitopaladi obviously for the cough and all the upper respiratory aspect. My one very strong experience about Sitopaladi is it is excellent for even daha. When you say daha means burning of hands or feet. When there is a tremendous burning hand and feet, you can still give Sitopaladi and can expect. So daha is a condition, just not simple burning. It's like a more of a internal tissue burning, as we understand in Ayurveda. And that's why the terminology daha has been given, and it works very well. I think the presentation is up, so I would not take more time.
Thank you so much for pointing out some of the specific details. We'll come back to this after we've had Anitaji's presentation. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Anitaji, namaskar.
Sir, namaskar. Actually, I'm doing my video so that the network issue should be a little bit clarity will be there.
You are.
Should I start?
Please, sir. Please,
Yes,
ma'am.
please.
Hello. Myself, Dr. Arita Manjari. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Shastra. I'm as an in-charge controller. We are having pharmacy at our setup, at our institute.
Anitaji, is it possible, sorry to interrupt, is it possible to display your slides in the presentation mode?
Yes, sir. Yes, sure.
Because you have.
Is it okay?
No, it's not coming through to the presentation mode.
Is it?
Oh, no.
I think, Dr. Madanji, I think we
proceed. Thank you.
We have only 8 minutes.
We will proceed with what you have. Thank you.
Please, you can share no? From on behalf of me.
Thank you, Anitaji. We'll continue with what you can do from your end.
Okay, sir. So my objectives. So
Dr. Madanji, I think there is a network issue.
There's a problem here.
Yeah. So we can discuss the Sitopaladi Churna. Dr. Pratibha Shah is already
Pratibha ji,
there.
namaskar. Thank you for joining us today from
Thank you. Thank you. It's so nice to see all of you. And, wonderful, wonderful initiative. Congratulations on your commitment and, making every Sunday such a wonderful, knowledgeable session. Thank you for allowing me to comment and ask a question. So great presentation by Dr. Shardul, very clear, as Madanji rightly said. I have a question about Sita. What are you using for Sita? Because Sita is not white sugar. So I'm really interested in hearing about that. And I also wanted to make a very quick comment on what Dr. Shardul said about the tablets. I think what he said was chewable tablets. So that will still help with the throat. It's a good sort of midway between the practicality of a formulation. So I was keeping my ear out for that. The minute he said chewable, I said, thumbs up. So,
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Number one, thank you so much for being with us from the East Coast today. And thank you for raising this very interesting point about possibly a soft gel kind of tablet is what is that. That's right, which can be not swallowed, but chewed is what you're saying. Thank you. Let us hear. I think Shantaji is smiling. He is accepting that as an option.
I'm very happy about it to hear about it.
Shardulji, I hope you got Pratibhaji's question. Pratibhaji
yes.
is coming to us from Boston in East Coast. Namaskar.
Yes. About they are asking about the Sita. She is very right that it's not a white sugar. It's slightly in a brown sugar, Khandasari sugar. If you see the Khandasari sugar, it is slightly in a brown color. It's not a totally white. That's why I used to say it is non-sulfurdized. When it is sulfurdized, it is white.
Can you quickly walk through sugarcane juice? Then what happens? Just very quickly.
Yes. That is known as a Khandasari sugar, where the other only physical process has to be done, not the chemical process. As you go with the chemical process, it is not a Khandasari sugar at all. So that is the only physical process when it is a sugar is coming out with the sugarcane juice. That is a Khandasari sugar we should use in a proper Sitopaladi Churna when we are using. Okay,
is that available?
Yes, ma'am. Nowadays in India also it is available. Some of the pharmacies are using Khandasari sugar for a Sitopaladi Churna. Okay, it is slightly in a brown color. It is very expensive compared to the other sugar. Like you go with the normal sugar,
4 times.
45 rupees kg in India. At Khandasari, it is 90 to 100 rupees kg. And when you go with the proper brown Khandasari sugar, it is almost the 140, 150 rupees kg or 200 rupees kg.
And that's my point. That's my point. Yeah. Like even like Banyan Botanicals, I'm going to say the name of the company here. They make organic Sitopaladi, and there is cane sugar in it. So people are not paying attention that it makes a huge difference when you have like a non-chemical treated sugar, Sita, which is the Khandasarkara, versus the cane sugar, the white sugar. And, this is something not many people notice. So very few pharmacies might be using the actual Sita.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for addressing this Sita.
Dr. Madanji, I have a question now. Please. Because we are very close to our end of the program. So I have a question to Dr. Pratibhaji and Dr. Ashleshaji. What is their experience in current pandemic about the use of Sitopaladi Churna? Because Sitopaladi has a very important effect on 2 symptoms which are very common in COVID. One is a dry cough, another is loss of taste. And do you think it's a valuable drug to alleviate all these, or particularly these 2 symptoms? However, we can use other drugs along with the Sitopaladi. Like if we look at the protocol of COVID treatment by Ayush, they mentioned about use of this Guduchi Ghansatva, then Ayush 64. And do you think it's a valuable drug for alleviating these two symptoms, particularly dry cough as well as loss of taste? Please give your comments. Thank you.
Pratibha-ji, please.
Pratibha-ji,
Okay, so very quickly, I know time is less, but it has been an integral part of what I have created as a Corona kit. Because even though we are not legally allowed to call it like COVID management, it's very difficult here in this country. But I have created a Corona kit that is on somewhere on my social media, etc., in which Sitopaladi is an integral part, Nasya, Chavanprash, and I use other things like Godanti Mishra, and sometimes I tell the client to get it, but I have also created a tea that has Vasa, Tulsi, Trikatu, etc. But a judicious use of these so that, I mean, you have to see the underlying, rogi avastha, everything you have to take into account and then put together. But Sitopaladi has been, even though I'm using the Banyan one, I must say, because that is available to me very authentically here without any legal issues. Even with the white sugar, I feel the Madhura Rasa balances out. It's an important ingredient. So miraculous effects, I must say. Dr.
Pratibha-ji, thank you so much.
I would like to
before we bring
Madan.
Ashlesha-ji, I just want to share with our viewers who may not know the wonderful, spectacular work that you are doing in America by setting up a global council for Ayurveda research. And this is the newsletter. For people who are viewing us online or people who are viewing us on YouTube, please connect with Pratibha-ji, and you can locate Pratibha-ji at the Global Council for Ayurveda Research. Pratibha-ji used to work, she studied, she has an MD in Rashastra by Kalpana from from Jamnagar, and she used to work in India for the Central Council for Ayurveda Research. So we are very fortunate to have such a senior and enlightened individual here with us. So Shardulji, you will see from the sharp question that Pratibha-ji asked, there is a depth there that comes from training in India.
Yes,
and we are soon coming to the end of our session. I think there may be a little time for Ashlesh, a few minutes for Ashlesh.
I just want to comment.
Please.
Dr. Pratibha, as we mentioned about Khandasari or organic sugar, and Dr. Shardul has mentioned about ghee. I think the glycemic index of the Khandasari is lower than the other sugar.
100%.
It is a very plus
Absolutely,
point.
good point.
Yeah, because every third person is a diabetic. So you have to be very careful in giving this. And another thing Dr. Shardul mentioned, which was very surprising, honey, and in unequal proportion with ghee. Ghee, again, that is clarified butter, reduces the absorption of any digestive material in the stomach. It slows down the absorption, which again helps very slow release of glucose or sugar in the blood. So, and another third point is Sitopaladi is very palatable and easily administered in young children. I would also bring this point clearly. Post-pandemic, there have been so many cases. I'm seeing almost about 10 to 15 cases in my clinic with this irritation in the throat and dry cough. It is so rampant. Sitopaladi is really giving very good results. And Shardul pointed out very well the Bodhak cough, which gets the action starts in the tongue itself. So Thank you.
I think,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
Dr.
you, ma'am.
Pallavi
Thank
ji, as you mentioned, I would also say that Sitopaladi has double effect, as it is, of course, a very potent medicine. I would call it as a medicine only. I know it's in a
course.
actual, in US aspect, we cannot call it exactly as a medicine, but definitely it would work not only for just the cough and all, but palatability is extremely important, which we should always give example, and that really helps a lot. I have also used tremendously. I think I would say people, my clients would already know that okay, Sitopaladi is already taken, kind of thing. So it is been a very, very helpful aspect.
So, Dr. Madanji, I have shared one research paper. It says Sitopaladi Churna may be considered as a remedy for diabetes, though it contains sugar.
Wow.
This is very fascinating, what you are pointing us
So
to.
this is
About
the research paper available on the net.
Yeah.
It is by the
Which
Department
this
of
thing
Pharmacy.
is,
So they say Sitopaladi Churna may be considered as a remedy for diabetes and other insulin.
It's hard to.
No.
No, it's possible. Why not? I mean, I
Research
see.
paper, because there is a Dalchini in it, there is a Pippali in it.
Dalchini.
Yeah. So
See, you.
it's a proper research paper. So I have given you the food for thought. So think on it. So, and anyway, Mataji, please carry on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for now. Before we, it's unfortunate that we couldn't get our second speaker onto our platform for some reason. We couldn't connect with Varda. Apologies for this. There will be an opportunity to listen to Anitaji at some point, hopefully in the future. I want to, before we say draw this event to a close, I want to take a few words from Ashlesha ji before we draw this to a close. Ashlesha ji, if you have something to add, we would love to hear from you.
Yes, sure. Yes, please.
Whatever you have in mind about the product or that very important theme that you highlighted, that is the significance of using the term Ayurveda as a big market opener, contrary to a market barrier. This is a very important point that you are offering us, and a very important perspective coming from America. Thank you.
Yeah, so Madanji, thank you for giving this last minute also, and focusing. I'm very glad that we are really coming to this point, that how the word Ayurveda is important. In fact, I'm sure those who all are present here on dais would support me on this statement, that we are here only for Ayurveda. If we would have not discussing Ayurveda, I don't think we would have even joined here, right? We had never came in the whole process, or the whole mission which we have started developing 75 products. They are because they are Ayurvedic. Am I correct, everybody? Yes. And that's the power of Ayurveda. We always, as I would say, that we have reference to give. A huge history is already being created. The references are being created, not just the recent work, recent researchers, but I'm talking about those sages were also researchers, isn't it? And they have done huge work. We have all that ready-made, and we should be, that is our legacy. And that's the reason we should keep forward that. And this word is, Ayurveda word is extremely important. From all the perspective, market perspective, academic perspective, technical perspective, everywhere.
Thank you, Ashlesha ji. You have reinforced the call for why the term Ayurveda must be preserved. And if we hold on to that with strength, the market will change. I think this is what you are conveying. And the market is already preferring the word Ayurveda and the qualities that are offered by the term Ayurveda. And that is the message coming through. Unfortunately, Neeraj ji is not here with us. Now, we will continue with this theme,
I
a
just
very important theme that has been touched on today. So with those few words, I draw this event to a close. Pratibhaji, there is a word.
Pratibhaji, please go ahead.
Very
Yeah.
quickly, I will be sharing 2 papers with Madanji and Harishji, where Sitopaladi has been documented to treat nutritional anemia. One paper is on children and one is on pregnant women, and it has acted as a catalyst. No iron was given. So I would like to share both those papers with you. I have them on my desktop. Second, I just want to quickly add support to what Dr. Ashlesha is saying. We are already being appropriated in so many ways with functional medicine supplements and nutraceuticals in the market. And Chinese medicine is also not protected from that. You will see one Chinese herb, one ashwagandha, one turmeric, and some concoctions are being sold for, many, many dollars. I think many sessions can come out from today's session, especially the beginning part. I was with Ayush Ministry, actually, not with CCRS, but government's job is to make policies. Government is not in the business of manufacturing or commercial activities. The commercial entities need to take care of this, that the appropriation is reduced in the market of Ayurveda that is happening. Government can help by making policies that can protect Ayurveda as a intellectual, traditional system of medicine. And we need to use the word Ayurveda, otherwise we are opening the gates for appropriation ourselves. So
Pratibhaji, thank you so much. This is a very important point that you've raised, again, partly because there is a new bill that is being drafted, a revision of the 1944 Cosmetics Act that is being revised. And perhaps we should come together to discuss this one point. You have articulated it so clearly about one word, misappropriation, and this is something we must become streetwise about. I want to hear a little bit from Satish ji here. Satish ji, namaskar. Satish ji, who is chairing the Canada-India Foundation. Namaskar ji.
Ji, namaskar. Today's session was so fascinating, so stimulating. I think we all are kind of getting one central point, and I unequivocally support that, Ayurveda, our traditional heritage, medicine heritage, and it's a kind of an intellectual property which India has given to the world. We should not compromise to it. And I fully second Ashlesha ji's point, Pratibhaji's point, and Dr. Harish Verma and all others that, see, yes, it might be, the road might be a long journey, might be quite, kind of a bumpy, but I think sticking to our roots and we will succeed, because at the end of the day, it brings a backup of the history of over 5,000 years. So it rather adds to the credibility of the system, right? So I think we strongly stick to it. I completely second that. Thought to share my.
Thank you, Satishji. Thank you so much. I would like to make, because Pratibhaji is here with us, I just want to make open request here that the research forum that Pratibhaji has set up in America, there is an immense opportunity for Pratibhaji to interact with the ongoings in Toronto. Satishji is already established a very big resource there in Toronto, interacting with the Toronto Health Network, with all the hospitals, Toronto. And Pratibhaji, we look forward to your connecting with the Canada-India Foundation, connecting with Satish ji, who is chairing the Canada-India Foundation, and for perhaps all of us to come together, including Shanta Gurgama ji from British Ayurveda Medical Council. Shanta ji, we look forward to your leadership also to come together with our colleagues in America, with our colleagues in Canada, and with the leadership from Pratibhaji on that research, the Global Research Forum, to think about projects for the future. We have had interactions with Sri Lanka, we've had interactions with Mauritius, we have interactions going on in many other parts of the world, and perhaps Naranji will also bring these people into our discussion so that we can build a very strong research-based network also, together with trying to hold the heritage together. Naranji, perhaps you would like to add a few words before flow goes back to Pallavi for concluding this program. Thank you, Ji.
Now we've had a good discussion today. I think it's important to listen to multiple points of view. The idea is we all understand that this is a great tradition and pearls of wisdom left behind by our forefathers. It's our responsibility to make this successful and global, and also make it a commercial success. I think it's our time to lead. So
Absolutely.
we should whatever this generation, this few of us and more so dedicated people, the sacrifice we do, the investment we do, time, effort in doing our best, at least this should make our next generation feel proud of our heritage and what it is. That's the whole idea. So the idea is to listen to multiple points of view. So I have no opinion on what is right, what is wrong. I just want to see Bharat win and become a Vishwaguru. Rest doesn't matter.
Thank you, Ji. I think this, Naranji, that one word that Pratibha Ji used of the appropriation of intellect,
Absolutely.
which seems unfair. And I think India should now take a very bold step to have that global footprint to prevent these things happening.
Absolutely.
And with those words, we will come back to this point again, Ji. Next time when we are here on this platform, we'll come back to this point. We will revisit, we will refine, and hopefully our words will convince more minds about the importance of this body of knowledge, which is a gold mine for all kinds of problems for the future. Namaste, Ji.
Namaste.
Could we all be connected over email, Harish Ji, Madan Ji?
We will do this, Pratibha Ji.
We will come together. Our emails, yeah.
We will come together on this. Thank you, Pratibha Ji. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we need your help to take us forward. Namaskar, Ji. Pallavi Ji, namaskar.
Yeah.
There is much more to be.
You.
This is a wonderful discussion. Consider this only one episode in a long series. We have many more to come. So keep your thoughts clear and come back to us next week. Namaste.
I keep refraining myself from talking because I want to give chance to everybody. But one thing is very sure. We say Rig Ved, Yajurved, Samved, and Atharva Ved. We never say Veda. We don't say Rig Veda. I don't know why the word, when it goes to the West, it becomes Ayurveda. It is Ayurved. It is yoga. It is not yoga. I think we should start making it globally. This terminology should go ahead. And another thing from today's discussions were beautiful. The beauty of Rasa Virya Vipak Prabhav, that the after digestion effect of that particular medicinal herb. Those ancient sages never had laboratories. This is what we want to tell the world, how they could come to such conclusion of a particular herb. So with this, I'm very thankful that I get the opportunity of thanking everybody and our special guest, Honorable Mr. Neeraj Dev, had pointed very good points, and he's not there now, he's left already, but thank you for his valuable time. And Narendranji, thank you very much for bringing him. And Dr. Shanta Godgama, last session you were not there. And there was a $1 billion statement mentioned by Dr. Shreyas. He said that Ayurvedic medicines yield side benefits. How the other medicines yield side effects, it was a very important statement. He said that Ayurvedic medications yield side benefits, so it's a real, we need to think over this. So thank you, Dr. Shanta Godgama, for sharing your views today. It was very interesting. And today's expert speakers, we are sorry we could not listen to Dr. Anita, but Dr. Shardul Chavan, excellent. I must thank you for the minimum slides and excellent presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Dr. Satish Ji, thanks to Canada India Foundation for being such a big support. Shri Narendranji, I would like to say something very special about you, but we'll keep it for next time. Thank you very much for connecting all important people on this platform. Dr. Ashlesha, Dr. Pratibha Shah, thank you very much for your opinion. And Canadian India Foundation, Consulate General of India in Toronto. I think we are missing Apurva ji since many sessions. I hope she joins us in near future. And next, and Canadian College of Ayurveda and Yoga, Dr. Harish ji and Kappa. Thank you, everybody. European Ayurveda Association, Dr. Madan Tangavalu, you are exceptionally good. No words to thank you for your moderation. And Tathastu, and also our Y Media and Pravasi Television. I may miss out on some important people, but please pardon me. And thank you all. Next week, we will be talking on Trikatu. So please stay tuned. And in near future, we are going to change the day of our lecture series from Sunday. We may be shifting to Wednesday, but that announcements will be coming in the next few sessions. So wishing you all a very happy Sunday, and looking forward for you to join next Sunday. Thank you. Thank you all. Dhanyavad. Grasi. Danke schön.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Namaskar, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Somebody is sharing a screen here on Aveda.
Aveda? What is Aveda?
I don't know who's.
Dr. Palviji.
Cosmet.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dr. Palviji, you mentioned that in West people have changed the Ved from Vedas, but look at Aveda.
Oh, yeah,
It's completely opposite.
It's
They don't know the meaning of Vedas.
No, Dr. Harish ji, it's a very serious issue. I had spoken to Rajesh Kotecha ji sir also, that please stop calling Ayurveda and yoga. It is Ayurveda.
Ayurveda is very close to Ved, but look at the Aveda. This is entirely opposite.
Entirely opposite. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much.
But
Anyway,
it's selling. Harishi, but it is selling. That is the point.
And
Marketing.
thank you. And my final thank you to the viewers for sparing the time on a Sunday morning and evening. Thank you very much all. Namaste. Shukriya.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.